Let's give a warm Arizona welcome to your gubernatorial candidate, Republican Kari Lake. Oh, yeah. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Good to see you.
Hello, how are you? Oh,
Very enthusiastic.
you drew a crowd.
No, I think they came for you. You're running for election. I did offer to bribe them with In-N-Out Burger, though.
Oh, well, that'll bring a crowd.
That was my favorite place.
Welcome to Arizona.
Thank you for soon-to-be governor, right? I think
I think we're going to vote, right? Definitely.
I never take anything for granted, though. I mean, I've seen you up as high as 5-6 points in the polls, but I tell every candidate, you have to run like you're behind.
Yep.
You know, it's 2 minutes left in the game, no timeouts. You're on your own 20. You got to march down the field 80 yards. You got to cross the plane, kick the field goal to win. Is that how you're running?
You're speaking my language. My dad was a football coach, and we are with seconds left on the clock right now. We have 15 days left in this election, and we are acting like we're 20 points back. But we've been doing that since day one, because we knew that we have to save this state. And you know, we know from the crowds that we're getting that we are way ahead. We drew 4,000 people at a rally Saturday night. It was a great event. Some of you might have been there.
Right, that's amazing.
And Katie held her biggest event, and I think there were 20 people there.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not sure I believe all the polls. I know from what I'm feeling that there's something going on in Arizona, and it's good.
I hope so. Now, I want to go to this quote of hers. It's ridiculous to focus on the border. This is well, every state now is a border state. It's ridiculous to focus on the border. She actually said that, and she supports amnesty.
Her plan is to let Joe Biden handle it. Joe Biden is the reason we've gotten into this mess in the first place.
Joe does not know today is Monday.
That's right. We have to wake him up in the middle of an interview. Did you see he fell asleep in the middle of an interview?
Yeah. What does Dr. Biden think? Mr. President?
And then you look at her voting record when she was a state senator, and she voted against the border wall. She voted against the virtual border wall, against the border strike force, which would help protect Arizonans. And she voted against, this is the shocker, she even voted against asking the federal government to reimburse us for the costs that we're incurring. I don't know how she can look herself in the mirror. We have a fentanyl crisis, and I know that she's not talking to that many people on the campaign trail, but I'm talking to people every day, hundreds, sometimes thousands of people. And when you see a mother come up to you and talk about losing her son or father, her 17-year-old son took 1 pill, a 19-year-old son took a half a pill, and they're gone. We have to.
It is the #1 killer of our children now in the country.
That's right.
And it's coming across that border that she doesn't understand why we're focused on it.
And she's an open borders globalist, let's face it. She wants to take what Newsom has done for California, which is destroy that state, and do the same thing here in Arizona. And that's why I think we have a movement, because people know if we elect someone like Katie Hobbs, we're going to turn into California 2.0. And nobody wants that. I'm pretty safe.
By the way, you have a lot of Californians moving in. I think there ought to be a rule. Maybe if you become governor, you can get the legislature to pass a rule. You're allowed to come, but you can't ruin the state the way you ruined the last state you came from. That would be... I don't know how you figure that out, though.
No, I will say this, though. The Californians are the ones who grab me at these events and go, don't let Arizona go. We uprooted our children. We uprooted our business. We moved our home. We are here. We don't want Arizona to turn into California. So some of our California friends that moved here, they gave up a lot. Somebody's waving in the crowd. They don't want this to turn in. They fled California.
You know what so here's an amazing thing. If you take a U-Haul from anywhere in California to Texas or Arizona, where we are, you know, in the case of Texas, it will cost you about $2,500 from California to Texas. If you take that same U-Haul from Texas back to California, you'll pay $300 or $400. You're doing U-Haul a favor. If you negotiate, you could probably get it for free.
Probably. U-Haul, which is an Arizona company, they will pay you to get a U-Haul from Arizona to California because people are moving so fast.
Let's talk about why will she not debate you?
Well, she's now missed her chance because we had the debate last night, and it aired last night, and it was a great conversation. I didn't yell. There was no antics. You know, she's afraid. There's several reasons. One, she has terrible policies.
It was a forum, though. There's a little difference.
Yeah, last night we just had an interview because she wouldn't show up.
Right.
But she's afraid to defend her policies because they're dead-end, destructive policies. How do you defend wanting an open border when you've got so many fentanyl pills pouring across that they could kill every man, woman, and child in this country? How do you defend that? How do you defend your voting record when you voted nearly 90% of the time against small Arizona businesses when you had a chance to help them? How do you defend tax increases that you were pushing for when you were in the legislature? And how do you defend, I think this might have been the worst bill that she co-sponsored. Can you imagine putting your name on a bill? And she did this. She co-sponsored a bill to start sex education in kindergarten. This is the leftist that we're dealing with. And so she knows she would get, we would bring that up on the stage, and we'd bring up her twice convicted, racist past. She's got a terrible past and she can't defend it, and I think we just
She lost twice on the racial discrimination.
2 juries of her peers, yes, unanimously convicted her of racism and sexism for paying women of color $30,000 less than men. And it's always the left accusing conservatives and Republicans of being racist, and really, they're the racist.
So one of the big issues, the Democrats have tried to make this campaign about abortion. Now, I would argue inflation, 41-year high, record high gas prices, wide open borders, a lack of law and order, and woke education versus traditional education are the big issues. In her case, and a lot of Democrats are trying to make abortion, but she is somebody that would support abortion with no restrictions at all. And when asked about it, she wouldn't give any restrictions. So that means she would allow an abortion up until the moment before birth, because that child is viable outside a mother's womb. That is called, where I grew up, infanticide.
Yep. It is truly the murder of a baby, you're right. We got pressured on this by the media. The fake news in this town is horrible. And they were pressuring me every day on the trail to talk about abortion. And I said, look, I'm pro-life. I want to save as many babies as possible. I want to help as many women as possible. They go into a Planned Parenthood, they're given one choice, and that is the worst choice. Let's give women options so that they can choose life. They can find a family that wants to adopt their baby. And then I would say to the press, and you should pin down Katie Hobbs on where she stands, because she's for abortion up until the moment the baby is born and then after. And they finally did. I'm really proud. I think my pressuring of the fake news pressured them to pin her down, and we got it verified the last couple of weeks. The press finally asked her.
Wait a minute. She's like Northam and supports the idea. Remember the governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia? Well, first the baby is born, and we'll make the baby comfortable. Then the mother will have a consultation with the doctor and decide whether this independent human being gets to live or die.
It's disgusting, yeah.
That's pretty sick.
Her voting record proves it. If you don't believe me, look at her voting record. And her voting record shows when a bill was presented to her to vote on, to save a baby who would survive an abortion, to give them life, to give that baby treatment. Yeah. She voted no. She'd rather that baby die in a cold metal tray. And this is what we're dealing with here.
She says she's for tax cuts, but 13 times she had an opportunity to cut taxes, and she did not. How does she say that with a straight face?
I don't know. I don't know how she says. Well, she says a lot of uhs and ahs. That's how she does.
She does. I've watched her.
That's how she answers questions, Sean.
She couldn't even answer a simple question. How is your relationship with the Hispanic American community? That's a great question. Yeah,
well,
right.
The thing is, nobody's asking her these questions because she's running from the media. She's running from the debate stage. She is only talking to people who are friendly and throwing softball questions at her. Meantime, we've taken we call it the job interview, we've taken on the road. And because she wouldn't do the debate, I think of a debate as a job interview. I think everyone's safe to say, the people are the hiring manager. I'm applying for the job. Katie's applying for the job, and we go and talk to the hiring manager, the people of Arizona. We talk about what we want to do for this state. They know, because they've heard me, that I want to secure the border. I want to make sure our kids are getting a decent education, not a brainwashing. I want to make sure that we have a strong economy so that we can have families who can afford groceries and gas and vacations even, maybe. Get it to where it's that good.
The big issues that are fundamental, I would argue, in every election, beyond inflation and gas prices, and we'll talk about that, then it becomes border security, then it becomes law and order. Everybody wants to be safe and secure in their town and city.
And we're not right now.
And we're not. right?
And
Record.
it's a variety of problems. We've got a wide open border, 5 million people coming in. In the last year, 2.3 million have come in. That's not including the gotaways. The gotaways are the people who come in, they want to come in undetected because they have a criminal background.
98 apprehended people on our terror watch list. Those are only the people we caught.
Yes, imagine that. Who's getting through that we don't know about? That's what's scary, and that's why we've got to secure the border and fully fund our police, get all of our police departments fully funded, right?
Okay. The other thing that you could have a very big role in is on the issue of education. Now, maybe I'm old-fashioned. I don't think that kindergarten through even 6th grade should be learning about gender identity or CRT.
It's garbage.
I'm old-fashioned. I believe in reading, writing, math, history, science, and computers, and the golden rule. You can teach the kids, love God and your neighbor as yourself.
Yep.
If you're at public school, you can't mention the God part. Okay. Treat others the way you want to be treated.
And we do need to bring God back into our society. We really do. I'm just going to say that. Our state motto is God enriches. God enriches. And we need to. Katie Hobbs doesn't even want our state motto in the classroom, probably because the word God's in there. And this is what's happened. When we push God out of our society, out of our culture, out of our homes, out of our hearts, look what's happened to America. We need to bring God back. We really do. And so.
All right, we got to take a break.
Okay.
Arizona, you have. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.